all have different stories of why they're there.
I believe that street children are people who we need to love, people we need to care for.
Every child should be enrolled in school.
Kenyans have a very bad mentality towards street kids that, as in, they can't even stand them. And these are kids who need help. These are kids who are addicted to drugs. These are kids who don't even have things to eat. These are kids who don't have nowhere to sleep. Like me, watoto tu wako tu hapo, they are just living. They don't know how tomorrow will turn out. They don't know who atakufa rafiki yao, because every day there's a case of who was shot, who was mugged, who was what. So according to me, I just feel like street kids are people who really need a support a lot, because they're normal people like us and they didn't deserve to be where they are. So when it comes to why I think they're there in the streets, I think some of them, okay, they're different stories, because I've met street kids before and they tell me different cases. There's cases of people who've run away from home. Basically, anaoferiwa love and support by the parents, but kwa sababu alimit rafiki yake mmoja akamwonyesha that in the streets, by the way, you can smoke weed or you can sniff jet fuel and get so high and not have to go home. Yeah, na prefer that over lifestyle ya kwenda home kila siku na kuchapwa ama nini. Or maybe because they are so poor and the parents died, then they find themselves in the streets because they have nowhere to sleep. Na family members wao wamewa reject. Or just because I've had cases of kids who get help. They get sponsors, the sponsors take them to houses. And you know, these kids live there for a week and then they miss that old life of living in the streets. They run away, they go back to the streets. So there's different cases of why kids are in the streets. But what I know at the back of my mind, I know none of them is to blame for the situation they're in. It's just circumstances that find them there.
You know, as I said before, there are some positive and negative reasons to why people become street children. You know, I feel like let me start with the positives. I would say that some children flee from home because of, you know, pressure from parents. Pressure in terms of monetary, you know, there's some parents who are abusive, you know, maybe some flee because, you know, they feel like they are burdened because the background, you know, I would say that's one of the, like, so the kid is encapsulated in this, like, you know, he's trapped, he doesn't know what to do. So the best thing the kid thinks is just, let me run away from home, I go and chase and start a life somewhere else, you know. The negative reason I would say is because some kids, you know, they are normally, I wouldn't say kichwa ngumu, but, you know, they refuse to align to a certain system. They feel like the system is so constricting to them. That's why they feel like, you know what, I can't be told what to do. I want to go and experience life. I want to go and, you know, do things the way I want. So we have those kind of people in the streets, and there are those who are there out of lack of circumstance. You know, they don't have maybe parents, you know, the parents died, they don't have a relative. So the only thing they have is, you know, just to be on the streets.
I think the biggest problem with the perception in Denmark about homeless people are from the politicians. And especially about foreigners who live in the street. We had this new policy that you couldn't beg in a threatening manner, and therefore then you would be put in jail. And that was just another way of saying you can't beg in a foreign language, then we throw you in jail. So I think there's a little bit more hostility against homeless people the last couple of years. We don't have the same thing as, you know, the chocolate, but of course we're a small country. The problem is small, so it's much more easy to handle.
There's a very big divide on how people will perceive them. So the perception they themselves have is that no one cares, no one is there for them, no one wants to see them. Like the unwanted seeds You understand? So with that, I came across so many things, yeah, in the streets where you feel people, when someone from the streets is walking on one side of the road and a member of the public walks towards them, they literally cross the road and go to the other side of the road, not to come in contact with these people living in the streets. Reason being, they have a perception that this young man, this young woman, this child will steal from them, will beg them, will do something that is not, that they do not relate to. So they easily part ways or distance themselves from them. Yeah. They say, first of all, since people don't want to interact with us, why should we even care when they say anything? Why should we take care of their things? Why should we be in good relation? They're not in good terms with us. Why should we be in good terms with them? So the first effect that this thing has, the perception or people trying to distance themselves from people living in the streets, really is people living in the street, they will try and act different. By acting different means, if they see you saying that they are thieves, they'll actually be thieves.
Yeah.
Because you are seeing them as thieves.
Yeah.
It's not really that they wanted to be thieves, but they will be thieves because you see them or you perceive them as thieves. Or you might say that these people living in the streets, they're beggars. They cannot do something. They cannot work for a living. That's not true, But in the real sense is that, do you know these most people living in the streets, they wake up as early as 4 a.m. to go hustle, make some money, So people will see them as a nuisance, as beggars, but really, it's the opposite of that.
I feel like the government should do a tour around Nairobi and get to find the street kids. Because you get like 50% of them want to go back to school, but they don't know who to talk to, who to approach. Because anyway, we're Kenyans, no one wants to stand a street kid. We are threatened by their presence.
What I think the government should do for street children. First of all, I feel like, our government is, I don't want to say negative or positive, but I feel like, there's more they can do. They're doing something, but there is way more they can do, Every year there's a lot of money allocated to different projects, there's different what. But, if you look at the end of it all, you see now like decongest the CBD. You can't decongest a city if you haven't provided, ample ways of living for everyone, because people go to the streets because they are lacking the basic necessities. They can't afford unga, they can't afford, water, they can't afford even a house itself in Nairobi. So if you make those conditions right, we'll reduce the number of street children. If you increase employment, we will reduce the number of street children we have. If you provide if you engage the youth more in platforms whereby they can grow, apart from even maybe getting monetary, their minds will expand. Even the rural areas, they'll expand to the point whereby they'll see that, hey, I don't have to be a pilot. I can use my talent, play football, and be this and this great person. You see, so as a government, they really need to ensure that they put a lot of strategies and a lot of policies in place to make sure that these young people, their mindset, because it begins here, change their mindset before you change their pockets. Mindset of a pocket. Once you do that first, the kid can think, hey, you know what? So at home, we're not so stable, but I can go access youth fund and start my own. I can start, selling rabbits and going to lift our family from where we are. So yeah, I feel like the government, there's something they're doing, but they need to do a lot more.
What you notice about government programs and efforts right now, I can't say it was the same in the past, is that they are inclusive. When the government removes fees from education, what is the government saying? Every child should be enrolled in school. I just like, what the government is doing right now, ensuring 100% transition. First of all, ensuring that they are enrolled in grade 1, even if not in the early childhood programs, the kindergartens. At least in grade 1, all children are enrolled. And it has directed its machinery all the way to the grassroots to ensure that children are actually in school. If that happens, then it means that the following year, the government knows how many children is planning for in level 1, in level 2, in level 3. When they are out in the fields looking after cattle and goats, you can't plan for them. You don't know who is there. But when they're in school, you can do that. You can immunize them. You can do many things. Government has gone ahead also and is implementing programs to ensure that the poor get some assistance. Even elderly people are getting some assistance. There could be hiccups in the introduction, but the whole intention is 100% good.
Change your mindset, and if you resonate to doing good, if you just start with whatever you have, don't wait for something big, start with whatever you have and get out of the streets, do something that will ensure you that one day, you're going to get out of the streets, and not just get out alone, but get out, make it, and then come and move another person out.
If a member of the public wants to help people living in the streets, number one, get to know them. There is no way you can make change without a relation. If you don't know me, will not help me. If I know you, if Casper knows me, he will walk with me. If Casper knows me, he can come and visit me. He can have activities with me. That's what we normally do. We can go places, we can have dinner, we can have lunch, we can plan for vacations together. If you know me, that's number one. So get to know someone. So the members of the public, the one very thing that you guys need to do, that you need to understand, is that you need to understand that people living in the streets have feelings. They have emotions. They're as human as us.
Let's support what the government is doing. Let all the people, not just the chiefs and the DOs, but every Kenyan ensure that children are actually in school. Let us look at the street children. Where are they coming from? Let us track them to their homes, because they go somewhere, some of them, okay? If they are in the streets, let us enroll them in the nearest school. That can be done in a country that is truly committed to universal education for all. That's really what we need to do, support that. And especially you, the media, especially the media. Interview those children even, interview their parents. Let us know where the hiccups are. Because if the government has voted so much money, instead of the money being stolen by people in offices, it can go to support education for all, and particularly the competency-based education for all.